So follow along and I'll share with you how in the past 2 years I started a home-based business and have grossed over $120,000 simply selling new and used goods, clothing, and shoes online. So as I found myself more and more tired of the job I was having to drag myself to every morning, I started investigating good and lucrative stay-at-home business opportunities and ventures. And one of the things that kept popping up was reselling. And because I already had some experience selling online in my local community on sites like Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, simply selling items from around the house and occasional items I might find at a garage sale like sports equipment or dog houses, I decided to take the leap of faith and start an eBay account and start selling in volume. When I first broke out and was reselling and had established my business in the early days, I knew I was going to have to source items at a low cost to resell so that I wasn't spending too much, so that I kept my overhead and my costs down initially, because let's face it, a lot of small businesses fail because they don't have the capital to survive. So because it was the late part of the summer, I chose to use garage sales, yard sales, and fundraiser sales as my medium to source goods to resell, and I had a lot of success. But one of the things I had done several months before starting my eBay account and my small business is I had been studying the market and watching other successful YouTube content creators who were resellers, and that gave me a lot of inspiration. It gave me a starting point, and it gave me a lot of knowledge, and it gave me an idea what to sell. So for anybody just getting started, my first advice is to not even go out and buy anything. Start digging through your closets, see if you can find some old clothes, some old shoes, or maybe some old goods that you don't use anymore and that you could list online. That's a great avenue or method to break out and get started without having to have any extra costs. As for equipment, you can be very simple. I broke out by simply writing people's addresses on the boxes, and then down the road I bought a Rollo thermal label printer, and that's something I'd suggest getting as soon as you can afford it, but it's not something that you're gonna need. You could also simply just print the addresses from your home computer onto a piece of paper and tape it to the box. That's another way to do it. So however you get started, just get started. It's better than not doing anything at all and dreaming. So something to think about is your sourcing options. And for me in the winter months, it's gotta be thrift stores because we don't have much of a garage sale season. And unfortunately, because of that, it costs a lot more. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because thrifting is so expensive in my area, knowing what you're buying is so imperative towards having success and having success early on. And you want that when you first break out, because if you buy a bunch of stuff and it doesn't sell, you're going to be disappointed. Here's an item that never in a million years would I have thought would sell for good money. These are ink toner cartridges that are new but were donated, and these sell for a lot of money. I picked up 3 of them today for an average buy-in price of like $6 and some change, and I probably can sell these for 120 to 150 bucks. Not bad. So just get to familiarize yourself with the things you're buying. That'll help you so much. So paid $18.50 for these toner ink cartridges. Super stoked. These will sell for about $39 to $70 depending on the color and the model number. So these are all great finds. For me, part of the year, I focus on trying to find as much stuff as I can at garage sales, as I said earlier. But for about 5 months out of the year, I have to depend on thrifting. And thrifting where I live is limited and can be very expensive. I live in a community of over 100,000 people, and we have one Goodwill. And to get to another Goodwill, I have to drive 45 minutes. And then beyond that, any other Goodwills are over 3-hour drive away. So because I'm limited on my options, I really have to take advantage of my connections and the people that help me to source. And those would be the people that run the thrift stores, the people that operate and own the thrift stores. And so if you can develop a good rapport or good connection with those people, as I always say, that's only going to help you to find more success, to get better stuff, and to get better stuff at a better cost and a better deal. So many things to consider as you break out into your reselling endeavor, but one of them is storage. Where am I going to put all this stuff? Because I operate out of my house, I really love clothing. You can literally compress a lot of clothing into poly mailers, stick them into several totes, stash it into a closet, and have several hundred clothing items packed right into a small space. So that is why I love clothing. I literally have every closet in my house packed with jackets. And then I have one room devoted to holding my clothing and another room devoted to holding some hard goods.
I'm lucky because I have a house that's over 2,000 square feet, but I see resellers all the time who are operating out of their house on half of that size of a home. So you can do it. You just have to put thought into it. One thing you don't want to do is be buying items though that won't sell fast, because if you're buying items that sell slow, you're going to have more and more items coming into your storage space and they're not going to be moving out quickly enough. So understanding the items that sell quickly is imperative, and really doing some research and educating yourself on how to understand the sell-through rates of items online, especially on your platform, will help you to have faster, quicker, more abundant sales.
Getting ready to go mob on this late season garage sale, but something else that tremendously helped me in my early days of reselling was to strive to get to the top rated seller status on eBay. By doing that, I get incredible discounts on my shipping, and shipping can get really expensive, and let's face it, shipping rates just continue to go up each year around the holidays. So by doing that, I get discounts upwards of 30 to 40% off, and around the holidays that really helps during Q4 when you're shipping a lot. It helps you to save a lot of money, and by doing really good shipping practices like shipping really quickly and just practicing good customer service, which might mean putting out a lot of fires or sometimes having to bite the bullet, will just help you to get better feedback. And let's face it, a lot of what you're doing and a lot of your customer satisfaction is all dependent on the feedback you get on eBay and especially other platforms. So if you can keep people happy, you're just going to get better ratings, and you'll get to that top rated status faster. So think about that, and thinking about striving towards that will help you to ultimately get also to another place, and that is the international shipping program. And that's going to open you up to not selling only domestically, but abroad, internationally. Nothing at that stop, but that is the nature of the beast, and something that's going to help you is to accept that reselling can be a roller coaster. Everybody's market is different. Everyone is going to have a different experience. So don't base all my advice on what you need to do. Take some of it and make your own way, make your own style, and figure it out as you go. Learning is a great experience, and sometimes we only learn through our failures. So just don't be afraid to fail. That is a big thing that's helped me through life, not only in my reselling endeavor. So just staying persistent and consistent is your best bet, especially when you're out reselling. You're going to come across a lot of things that maybe aren't worthy of picking up, and some that are. Morning, sir. How are you? Good to hear. All right, had some success at this garage sale. I'm going to pick up these 2 pair of Tyndale flame resistant work utility pants. They're canvas, they're cargos. These sell really well for me, and this gentleman's also going to sell me a couple iPhone cases, to which I'm just going to keep for myself because my case is getting beat to heck. So total spent $4 for these 2 pair of FR pants and 2 phone cases. Garage sale was a great example of how I save money by going to yard sales and garage sales and buying things for a rock bottom minimum. Those Tyndale FR pants will sell for me for somewhere between $18 to $24, and while they're not the best brand, I only paid $1 for them each, and so that's incredible, and the turnaround and what I'll make for profit is great, and I find deals like that all the time. But that's not to say that you have to garage sell. I'm just pointing out how I save money and how I make money. So I hope this video has been insightful, and again, my whole goal today was to try to give you some ideas on how I found better success and what led me to making over 6 figures in the past 24 months as an online reseller. So let's go ahead and do a little recap of today's video. I want to go ahead and imprint all of these points I'm trying to make in your head one last time. So number 1, you're going to want to research the things you're planning on selling, and that can change, and it's okay if you decide to start with hard goods and switch to clothing like I did. But whatever you do, try to get a familiarization with the brands that sell and the brands that are going to sell best for you, but also the things you can find most commonly in your area. That helped me so much, and I hope that that helps you. Point number 2. Not only are you going to want to research the items you're going to sell, but you're also going to want to research the market that you live in. And as I said earlier, because I live in an area where we don't have garage sales year round, I am forced to thrift for part of the year, and that can get expensive. So just better understanding what you have at your disposal, where you can source your items from at what time of year is only going to help you to have more success and hopefully save you some money. Point number 3 is to just simply do a good job, or do the best job you can to keep your customers happy. If you do that, you'll propel yourself and you'll find greater success faster. The faster you can get to being a top-rated seller on eBay, the better discounts you'll get and the more money you'll save with your shipping. And as I said earlier in the video, the quicker you might get invited to the international shipping program, which just opens you up to a worldwide reach or worldwide audience to come and buy your items. So if you can do that, that's gonna help you to get more sales and good customer service. Just biting the bullet sometimes, fielding those returns even when you don't want to, and being nice to people even when they're being ugly to you can go a long way, because again, feedback is everything on especially a lot of these online for sale sites. Tip number 4, always continue to learn. This endeavor has limitless possibilities. There are so many things out there that people desire that you can teach yourself about, and that knowledge will only help to grow and lead to you scaling your business and lead to greater rewards of monetary gains and success. So some of the things that help me is to always stay on top of styles, fashion trends, and not only those trends, but what these items are made of. That might be the materials, that might be the patterns or prints, and doing those kind of research tasks are only going to help you to be more current and more conscious of what sells and what is out there. Tip number 5 for you. Always establish good rapport and relationships with the people you source and buy items from, but not only those people, develop a relationship with your competition. So if you develop a good rapport with the people who are selling you items, they're gonna give you better deals, they're gonna look out for you, and they're also just gonna help you to grow that business, and there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't hurt to be friendly to people, and that will go a long way. But also, as I just said, also get to be friends with your competition. I have so many friends that are out there that are resellers, and they don't really specialize in selling clothing. They sell other things. They're collectors. They're people that have done this a lot longer. And so there's a wealth of knowledge, but also help you can get from your competition. And one of my best assets to my reselling business is my dear friend Phil. He's got over 20 years of selling experience, and he has been tremendous at helping and boosting my business. And so I'm tremendously grateful, not only for him, but for all the other people that I've met in this endeavor. And so that old saying is true. If you build it, they will come. You just have to put your heart and soul into it, and trust me, they will come. Tip number 6 for you is to put some thought into what you can find most commonly in your area, but also, what do I have room to store? The last thing you want to do is go out and rent a storage shed when you're breaking out doing this. My best advice is make some room somewhere in your house. Keep your overhead low. You don't want any extra excess costs, especially when you start. So if you're just breaking out, putting some mindful thought into what I have room to store, what I'm sourcing, and can I buy more of this and find it regularly will only help you to find more success that much faster. Tip number 7 is accept that reselling is a roller coaster and that you have to buy the ticket and take the ride. Tip number 8 is consistency, but across several different areas. You definitely want to be consistent with sourcing, and for me, I have to source all the time because I live in that small market and I have limited sourcing opportunities and options. But you also want to be hyper consistent with uploading items to the platform you're selling on daily. I can tell you with eBay, they really like people to list a minimum of 5 items a day. When you do that, and when you do it for a certain period of time consistently and regularly, eBay will look at you like a business owner. They will look at you like somebody who is wanting to regularly sell on their platform, and they will put your items to the top of the list, and that's just going to get you more sales. But lastly, it's also about consistency with maintaining a good death pile year round, but also understanding the fluctuations in fashion and style if you're going to sell clothing. And for me, that can be challenging. For part of the year, I love to sell jackets, but for the other part of the year, those jackets are not going to sell at all. So always keeping a mindset of wondering what it is that you need to be looking for to sell in the next season. If it is seasonal items you're selling, will help you. And all of that consistency amongst those 3 different items or topics are only going to help you to progress your business more. Tip number 9 is to just get started. You got to start somewhere. And I certainly regret not doing this several years prior. I dragged my feet with a job that was uncomfortable, where I was unhappy, and my whole life kind of fell apart because of that. And I only sometimes wonder if I would have gotten out of that job sooner and started doing this that much quicker,
if my life would be different, but that's not being very present. So I just want to put that out there to you. You got to get started somewhere. You have to believe in yourself. It doesn't require a ton of equipment. It doesn't require you to even go out and buy anything. As I said earlier in the video, you can dig things out from your closet and sell them. You can find items from around the house that you're no longer needing to use, and you can list those items, and that is a great way to start this endeavor. Just because you see people like me who have high-tech equipment and have a lot of different ways about doing this doesn't mean that that's where you have to get started. So just know, starting at rock bottom or ground zero is starting. So my last piece of advice, or tip number 10, is probably the most important when it comes to reselling and having success, and how I actually got to the point where I'm at. And that is simple. It's about having fun. All too often, we get caught up in our careers. We do them for too long. We get tired of the people we're working around or who we're working for, and then we have no connection and no purpose in what we are doing to provide income. And that was once me. I'm not gonna lie about it. But reselling has opened up a host of opportunities, as well as creating this YouTube channel. And that's actually what this is all really about. It's about my own personal growth and my own journey through switching careers and trying something new. And so I definitely want that for you, and I don't want you to be afraid. You just gotta believe in yourself, and again, you gotta have fun and learn from the experience itself. And so if you've made it this far, please reach out there, punch that like button for me. Please subscribe by hitting that box up there. And if you'd like to watch more full-length content where you see a guy like me go out and source underappreciated and undervalued goods, clothing, and shoes to resell online for profit, hit that box right there.